Greetings and welcome to another episode of Soul Talk, where we talk to Star citizens, members of the community. Today is July 21st, 2022, at least in North and South America. And we're live on Twitch and YouTube, hopefully. No, we're live on both of them. And I'm joined today by Griffin Gaming, as usual. How are you doing, Griffin?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How was your week been?
It's been an okay week. Busy, but not as busy as it was last week. So this was a little easier week for me. How about you?
I've been reading a lot. I did a bad thing at the beginning of the month. I subscribed to both Marvel Unlimited and Kindle Unlimited, so I'm like reading overload, trying to get as much reading as I can in before the month is done. But I'm so behind on Marvel. So, but it's fun. So not really. It's a good thing to have something to have that to complain about.
That's true. That's true. I'm bad on my Kindle. I have so many books and audio books, in fact, from Audible that I'm so far behind on. I'm trying to get back through some of the old Star Wars stuff and a couple other biographical things, and I'm just never have time.
About that old Star Wars stuff, it's like it's tough because that it's not canonized or the extended universe.
No, the stuff I'm trying to read is the canon stuff. Like I'm trying to go back to read Heir of the Empire and some of that because of the new stuff that Disney's doing. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to go back and refresh my memory on some things. I even started watching.
Still canon?
I thought it was, isn't it?
No, I thought all that stuff, old stuff, was wiped away when Disney got Star Wars.
Oh no, wait a minute, whoa! If you think I'm paying attention to what Disney came up with those last three movies, is that what you're talking about? Nah. I ain't trying to absorb that stuff. You got to be kidding. No, actually, I went back and watched. Started watching Resistance. I didn't watch that one at first because I didn't like the animation. It looked kind of kiddie, and the stories seemed kind of kiddie, which they are. Because they said that they were trying to appeal more to a younger group. But I actually enjoyed the first couple episodes of it. And I hear there's some stuff in there even that's tying into what Filoni and Favreau are doing. So I'm making myself watch that one as well. But that's about it.
Okay, well, I don't know if you noticed, but speaking of Star Wars and all that good stuff, San Diego Comic-Con is happening right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you seen anything from them today?
No, I usually watch it like afterward. I don't know, because it's too much to try and consume. So I just usually wait till it's over with and watch highlight clips and stuff from it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I mean, if it's something big or something that I'm really interested in, I'll try to pay attention. But if it's, mostly I'll just wait till it's over and then catch up on the highlights.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So.
I gotcha. Yeah, but I'll definitely be checking it out afterwards. A lot of beautiful things, if you know what I mean, to see when you're watching San Diego Citizen Con. So,
all right then. So, are you ready for me to do my thing?
Yeah, fire away.
Okay. Heads up, I'm going to do a crappy job, so don't expect much. But I know people will recognize this one right off the bat. So here we go. Are they the lucky ones? Is that what you're thinking? Isn't it? We're a long way from home. We planted them way beyond the red line. Limited supplies, limited fuel, no allies, and now no hope. Maybe it would have been better for us to advance quickly, back on the colonies with our families, instead of dying out here slowly in the emptiness of the earth. What shall we do? Where shall we go? I know where to go. The most guarded secret we have. The location was only known by senior commanders of the fleet, and we dare not say it with the public. Not while there's a vandal threat upon us. For now, we have refuge to go to, a refuge the vandal know nothing about. It won't be an easy journey. It'll be long and arduous. But I promise you one thing. On the memory of those lying here before you, we shall find it. So say we all. So say we all. So say we all.
Okay, it looks like Kai nailed it, and that's what I was thinking it was. Is it Battlestar Galactica?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, way to go, Kai. Awesome. All right, let's bring some of our Thursday night listeners in. We've got Admiral Kusanagi, Fistaface, Kaizen, and Pops in Space. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
All right.
How's everybody doing? Yep.
Yeah, Kai, you win.
Right?
Yeah, you win, Kai.
Wow. Thank you.
We weren't offering anything, but you win. Okay.
I was just going to ask you that question.
You would have cookie doll.
He got the date. He got the date with fastcart.
No.
On the date with fastcart.
Oh my goodness! Oh no!
Fastcart and I are
date.
going to be watching. Fastcart and I are going to be watching the San Diego Comic-Con stream together. Just all of the, let's just say, lovely cosplay.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I got you. I got
There
you.
you go.
Oh
Alright, so-
boy!
Up first, we have the sneak peek. All I am is a weapon. I guess this is Pyro again, and they got this guy throwing the grenade, and he's lucky that it didn't land back at his feet, right?
Yeah.
What, you know what's interesting? I noticed that is that this guy who's laying on the ground, and maybe the guy who's the guy on the ground, he definitely has the new electron rifle that's coming out. But I'm wondering, is there something special about that particular grenade? Because throwing a grenade is not a big deal, you know.
Oh,
No,
electric,
I don't think so.
electrical.
I think the grenade looks the same. I think they're highlighting the weapons.
That blue does stand out, but it would be cool if we had electrical shot grenades.
Yeah, that rifle was a sneak peek from a few weeks ago when
Right.
Admiral Kuznagi did his investigative reporting.
Yeah, I'm still wondering, Fist. I hear you, man. It'd be kind of cool if that was like an EMP grenade or something, you know. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. What's the title on this again, Fastcart?
All I am is a weapon.
Yeah, I think they're highlighting like
Maybe just the
rifles.
guns, maybe
The
the new
rifles, yeah.
rifles. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, when you think about it, though, Griff, like from a photography point of view, like what's the focal point?
The focal
looks like
point. Well, for me, it's both because I
Right.
have to ask myself, why would you throw that guy throwing a grenade in there? I mean, they could have just left it with the rifle. So to me, I'm looking at it as definitely the rifle. That's the first thing I mentioned. But I'm just curious, lobbing a grenade. Why do we have to see something? Because you notice that's all that guy's got too. By the way,
Oh,
he
you
ain't
know
got
what?
nothing else.
and
He ain't
you
wearing
know
no
what?
armor.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I'm sitting here looking at that.
Rogue Captain Hill just said that it got a red rag on his head. Colors, there could be gang colors that highlighting too.
And remember, kids, don't follow this example. If you're indoors with no cover and you throw a grenade, you're killing everyone, including yourself. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Are you saying it needs to be a much longer toss? Is that what you're trying to say, Kai?
I'm saying, have you ever thrown a grenade? Because I have.
I know the concussion on it. I know it's pretty bad.
I would not recommend doing it in this circumstance.
Oh my.
Okay. I'm curious about those new rifles, though. I am curious to see how different they're going to be from the bolt rifles, the ones we have now, the other electronic rifles. The Lightning ones, rather, because I think Bolt Company makes these, and I think Lightning makes the other one.
Yeah, I'm curious also what's the difference between lightning and bolt.
I guess we'll find out
Yeah,
soon
we'll
enough.
find out.
So yeah, that was this
what type of
last week.
effects what type of effects
Go
would an
ahead.
EMP grenade have on like armor or your HUD or something like that?
Well,
Knock them out.
Would an
Go ahead.
EMP affect electrical gun? Okay.
I would think so.
well, I would
If you're
think.
using a ballistic
gotta-
gun, why would they be beneficial?
Well, let's look at it like this. Okay, what if somebody has like like we talked about a while back about the arms, the prosthetic arms and stuff like that, the limbs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but we'll see. It looked interesting. All right. So up next we have. Gonna get the tab up. Oh yeah! Congrats to CIG and the community. We reached 4 million citizens, or 4 million account basically. But yeah, so that was on. I want to say last Friday. So yeah, we hit 4 million people.
And
I wonder
two.
who the lucky person was.
And two. Don't forget this, the two.
And speaking of that, so yeah, we hit 4 million, but I think that we've been accumulating quite a few. People for the past few weeks and few days. Like there was a big there was a YouTuber a while ago who put out a video about Star Citizen. He says he plays Star Citizen so we don't have to, or you don't have to. And after that video came out, it was like it went from 1,600, 1,500, averaging around 1,500 accounts a day, and then it jumped all the way up to 86 or 8,500 accounts in that one day. So yeah, a whole lot of people joining.
There's been some question about whether some of those accounts though are duplicates. You know how like most of us will have a second or third account. Right. So there is some kind of not concern, but some statements saying that some of those accounts are probably people making a second account, secondary account or something. No, well, it could be for the referrals too. But I'm saying there are a lot of people who do have a second account just in case they want to play differently. You know what I mean, for reputation and everything else. So it could be because of referrals, but then again, it could just be because the numbers are pretty consistent, except for a couple of those peak days. So, but still, 4 million is still a lot.
I know somebody with 40 accounts.
Yeah.
But just for the purposes, though, of metrics, you kind of have to say each account is an individual citizen. They might be one player with 5 citizens, but each account is an individual. They have to measure it somehow, some way. So, yeah.
I have 2. Yeah,
there you go.
I have 2, but I can't access one because I messed up my two-factor authentication, so I got to get back to CIG to fix that. But yeah, I'm not really worried about the second one anyway.
Yeah, good to know I wasn't the only one that did that.
Yeah, I mean, I was one referral away from getting 5 referrals, so I said, hey, and I got a free ship, so.
Yeah, but again, mine is also an account I'm not worried about. All I have is a Dragonfly, starter ship and a Dragonfly.
But can I say this though? Speaking of that guy you mentioned from the video, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's J Lee or JV. I often question the authenticity of it though, because I kind of believe he's played it before.
Yeah, I mean, and plus he said he's playing Star Citizen, so you don't have to. So maybe he did a little bit, but I mean, the overall experience is still, I think, authentic in a way. Yeah. But yeah, who knows?
I just want to be rich like y'all.
We have.
Want to be rich like us?
Yeah, the folks that got these accounts they can't access with like $60 just locked up in there. That's rich.
Oh, here you go, Mab. Oh yeah, I forgot to introduce people. We have Emma Kusanagi, Picture Page, Go Mab, Kaizen, Kawadi, and Potten Space joining us today. So right now we have on the screen last week's Star Citizen Live, all about 317.2 with Todd Papy. Did anyone get a chance to watch that?
That was a great SCL talk.
It was.
What were the highlights for anyone here?
They talked about a lot of interesting things. I think some of the stuff to me was they were talking about like, okay, is Quanta going to be running this or that? And he was like, well, not necessarily. Don't count on it expanding. We're testing it sort of intermittently as we do stuff. And they got into like a lot of the nitty gritty about the implementation issues and stuff of 317.2. So I thought it was interesting. It wasn't all good news per se. There were a couple of times where, Jared would ask Todd a question and he kind of looked down and felt uncomfortable and was like, well, no, we're not building on that yet, or no, whatever. But I feel like that's like a sign though, because like, it's not always going to be good news. So when you can ask a question and get an honest answer back that you don't necessarily love, but at least you got the answer, like there's something to respect in that as well.
Yeah, that's true. So true.
Yeah. To build on what... Oh, sorry.
No, go. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, to build on what Kai said, when he said that, the priorities for the company is Squadron 42, you can definitely see that, he, as the one of the key roles in the PU, he definitely wants to push these features out so that players can get them in the PU. But this is a question where they ask about how many teams are actually working on the PU as opposed to Squadron 42. So you can definitely see that there are some things that, of course, he may not, especially him, may not always be happy with the decisions that are made, but the priorities are currently for the company Squadron 42. So you saw those nuances.
Sorry. Cody, it sounds like you're using the wrong mic again. You're having that issue again.
Better now.
There you go.
That's
Much
it.
better.
No, thank you. So yeah, so some of the things that jumped out to me, I'm going by the Nubifier summary. So he said double hot dog doesn't provide double substance, but they will get the team members to correct it. So your double hot dog should give you double substances sometime soon.
So to be clear, they didn't say that it's not. Literally, Jared asked it as a joke because somebody on the stream said, "Hey, do the double hot dogs give double nutrition?" And Todd said, "I have no clue. We'll look into it. And if it doesn't, I'll have somebody get on that."
Okay.
Yeah, that was just more of a joke comment, though, I think.
Hot dog gate.
I wouldn't put it past them. And I mean, all
Fair
the details and stuff like that they put into the game. I would not put it past them.
Oh yeah, but I was.
That, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying it wasn't a major thing that they were planning on discussing. It was just a comment from the chat that got a response.
It made me laugh, so I decided to put it in.
Right
something else that Nubifier said that he said chat won't change it to the inventory system, and Todd said the system is far from complete and optimization will happen. He said being killed by elevators might persist until the next patch. And finally, I was only able to get to the middle of the video, but he said Jared will trim or cut his beard no later than October.
Yeah.
Because he said his beard is getting poopy.
Yeah.
The biggest
thing
out
to everybody else.
The biggest thing I think that was said there was the response to people combat logging and all the foring in order to escape death in PvP, right? I think that was probably like the biggest answer that a lot of people have been clamoring about.
Yeah. One of the things I enjoy is seeing the inside of especially the people that and what they do, how they work, the internal workings of the structure and all of that. I enjoyed seeing that, or at least getting a somewhat of a glimpse into that. The dev work is I don't know, to me it's very interesting. It's a different type of work to sit in front of a monitor all day and code and figure out this and that. And to me, that's just, I wouldn't want to do that kind of work, but it's really interesting to me.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to do that work.
It's kind of like the old saying, it's a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I got into following this project, a back project, because they give you this behind the scenes of how game development works, and that was I back in 2014. Quite a few folks back in 2012 when it first started. So the transparency of this project is a big draw for me and a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, because I know they must go home and their minds must be tired as hell when they go home.
Well, imagine like during COVID when they work from home, they had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone else got a comment about let's get ISC, but Star Citizen Live.
So this sort of ties in a little bit to this, and also a little bit to the thing from before, where it was 4 million citizens, and you saw that it was like close to $500 million. I completely understand that, and I don't want to say this. I'm not trying to say this to be negative to any other project. I think I support all space games. I want them all to do well, but I will say that I saw a thing just this week about Star Atlas, and they talked about how Star Atlas had made over $185 million.
And they've only been going for like 2 years?
And here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be negative to any other project, but just to say with regard to Star Citizen, I think gets a lot of, let's say, negative attention sometimes, for people who want to call out the amount of money that's been put into it. And I think I understand that. It's like, I get where they're coming from. But to me, when I look at Star Citizen and, okay, it's made $500 million, and that's a lot of money. But I feel like when you see stuff like this, SEL, when you see stuff ongoing constantly with this, it feels like they're doing stuff with the money, as opposed to there's some other projects that have come on the scene very recently that, you know, might have made over $185 million, and I've yet to see anything other than one sort of cinematic trailer, and like a couple of times the main dude gets up and talks, and when he talks, like, they're playing like stock footage of stuff, and he's talking about the Industrial Revolution and the future of money or whatever, and it's like, dude, show me something from your game.
Right.
And they have a hanger module. They don't call it the hanger module, but it's a hanger module, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Can
but we
players
also-
access that?
Can what?
Can players access their hanger module, or was that a developer demonstration?
Man, you got to
think that
be
was a
dumb enough
demo.
to spend hundreds of dollars on a ship to find that out. I don't know.
Well, you have to remember.
It was a developer demonstration, I think, but yeah, they call it, but they showed off the hanger module. Go ahead, Pops.
No, I was just going to say you have to remember what Montoya said. You can't have more than one space game.
No, you can't have more than one
Yeah,
game. You
yeah,
can only play
one.
one game at a
You can
time.
only
You can
play
only
one
put one
game.
game on your hard drive, and
Right.
that's
At
it.
a time. That's
And
right.
Pops is of course right with what he's saying, and I'm not trying in any way to. I'm not trying to like be a shitty guy. I'm just saying, for the money that they put in, they are showing you a lot of work with Star
Yeah,
Citizen.
no, Kai, that's a joke. It's
Oh
a,
yeah, no, I know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
No, you're
No, but
that's
yeah,
the whole
she's talking
Montoya
about
thing.
Star Citizen. Star Citizen is showing a lot of behind the scenes and what's going on in development. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So up next we have Untold Tales, Ghost Ship from Beyond Saturn. I did not get a chance to read this week, but I'm gonna put the link in chat so people can check it out for themselves. But good. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, the Ghost Tales from Saturn. So yeah, check that out. When you get a chance. Anyone else get a chance to read the lore post this year?
No.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't think so.
I haven't, but now that you say Ghost Ship from Beyond Saturn, I'm excited as hell. I'm gonna definitely go read that after the show tonight.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, doesn't that sound awesome?
Yeah.
Pretty
It
intriguing.
does.
From Beyond Saturn, exactly. It almost sounds like something from 2010, the sequel to 2001.
Yeah, I mean,
Expanse and Star Citizen.
Yeah, so like I love whenever there's stuff where they go far back enough into the lore where they're talking about our solar system, and then also just the idea of a ghost ship in a game. I mean, come on, you can't get any cooler than that.
Yeah, branching out, because I think we saw Machinima with a ghost in it.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing,
And
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of the stuff that we put in the game, I'm eventually, hopefully. So yeah.
Relics of the past.
Hell yeah.
When I hear Ghost Ship and Star Citizen, all I see is like a Scooby-Doo mission where you pull off the helmet, you pull off the thing, and it's just the Nine Tails under there. Like it's been the Nine Tails the whole time.
Now I'm
We'll
confused.
see.
Is this related to the ghost ship ladies from Beyond Saturn?
We'll
That
see
sounds
when
like
I.
some
Is that related
after
to
dark
that?
reading you're doing.
We'll see. Oh my goodness! All right. We'll see, when I listen to this though, when I listen to the title, it kind of reminds me of that movie, Event Horizon.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Good
I think
pull.
I think it's going to be one of those things where they pull off the hat and it's Todd Papy and he's like, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you kids and your crowdfunding.
And Dunkle Ord, welcome to the stream. Good to have you.
Hey, Dunk.
All right, so up next we have the roadmap update. This is from July 20th, 1 p.m. I don't know, probably Pacific. But hey, it's a happy Wednesday, everyone. So notable changes for July 20th, 2022. Release view, they got the following animation card for release with 2.17.2. So the Anvil Centurion, they added it. It's been in the PTU for, I guess, a week now. The Centurion.
Yeah,
Build,
forgot
yeah,
about
building, implementing, balancing, and built anti-air ground vehicle. The Centurion as a game-ready vehicle. So we haven't really talked about the Centurion that much. Well, my first question is, how much money do you think the Centurion will be compared to like maybe the ballista and whatnot?
How
It
much is
costs
the
the exact
ballista?
same.
You
I
think
have
it's
to
gonna be
look
the
it up.
same amount of money?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it'd be a
Same?
little bit
I think-
cheaper.
I think it's going to cost 400 double dogs.
Ah,
That's double the nutritional value there. That's a lot.
Mhm.
Wow.
Did the wrong thing. Let me close that. Go back to the other one. There you go. So yeah, I was trying to find the cost of the ballista. I want to say it's like 120 or 100. No,
Oh, it was
120.
120. It was 120 when it came out, and now it's 140.
It's 140 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
Centurion's not going to be more than
I'm-
150, I wouldn't think.
What's the Spartan going for? And so the Spartan was 65, and now it goes for $80. So I think it's gonna be like $100.
100. Yeah, that
Now the
sounds
reason for
reasonable.
that is just because it, the ballista extends further. It's gonna have a plus 20 kilometer range on that thing. So, and this is it's like a Zeus autocannon, so it's a lot more, it's a lot closer, air defense system. So that's why I
Oh,
think the
no.
ballista is going to be more expensive.
But the
You know,
Centurion.
you know what would be funny if they pull a cutlass steel and it's like $200.
Oh god. Actually,
It
I
could
was
happen,
curious
right?
because it could. I mean,
That's only if it comes with those ghost ship girls from Beyond Saturn.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Whoa. Somebody's been watching Comic-Con early.
Oh boy. I mean,
Hmm.
the Centurion is not I wouldn't say it's as finite as the ballista, so that's the only other, I guess, advantage that it may have in terms of costs or
Yeah.
justifying it being a bit more expensive, So that's what I was thinking.
Isn't it 4 size 4s on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus,
so
there's an extra turret on top. There's actually
Yeah.
6 guns on it.
yeah, so if you look at how they, price out these ships and what vehicles, they look at, the damage potential and all that stuff, right? While the ballista is a missile platform, yeah, there are tons of drawbacks for it. Like, mind you, there's nothing in this even remotely close to the capabilities of this thing as a ground vehicle. So I think they're going to take advantage of that. I
We'll
think it's
send it
going to be
priced.
$10 to $20 plus or minus from the ballista. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being a little bit more.
Same.
All right. Is anyone going to get one?
Oh yeah.
In
Oh,
game,
really?
No,
Oh,
I'll buy it. I'll buy it in cash.
I mean cash
Buy it in
money
cash.
or,
Yeah, I'll buy
or
it in
credit.
cash.
I'll buy
it in War Bond. I'll buy it with War Bond.
Yeah,
Mm.
I might buy a war bond. Depends on the cost. Like if they Cuddy steal it, then hell no.
So the way I look at this always, like with everything, and this is probably whatever, but I haven't found an exemption yet. All ground vehicles I buy with Alpha UEC. I buy I bought a couple of ships, but all ground vehicles, it's like they're always cheap as hell, and it's like, yeah, it's just a nice little thing to earn in game.
I
That's true.
mean,
I did the same
I'm
thing.
still looking forward to the Tumble Ranger, the motorcycle. So that's probably the only thing. I mean, in game so far. I may get a knocked in game too. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Tumble Ranger.
Right on.
Yeah, the only reason why I would buy like one of these ground vehicles, whether the ballista or the Centurion, with real money, is that let's say they release 318 and they run Jump Town, right? And it's right after the wipe. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah. Well, I guess the wipe is coming 317 too. So let's say they, if you don't have a ballista already in your hangar, then you're not going to be able to bring one to Jump Town to start recouping your money really quickly, right? So I want to have that.
Fair enough.
Now, what they need is, I would rather put ballistic weapons on this Centurion if they had a way to have an ammo carrier that could resupply the Centurion, the Ballista, the Nova Tank. That's what they really need in the game. Like a land vehicle to just stay off to the side and then be like, oh, let me go run over and, it's like those kids from the Matrix 2 that were running over, resupplying those mech warrior things.
The
So
That's a good use case for the mule.
Yeah, you need a mule with a little trailer hitch in the back, like a mule with a wagon.
And a mule with some camo paint, and we'll be good. Now, but you have to be able to pull those missiles for the big one. But yeah, something like that.
And I forgot to say this, I've been remiss, but if anyone else wants to join us, click on the link, the Discord link I just put in the chat right there. So come and join us and talk with us. We'd love to have you.
We got cookies. I got cookies.
Hey, share.
I take a picture.
Okay, thank you. So, along with the Anvil Centurion, they got a progress tracker. I don't think basically, that's about it. They just talk about the Anvil Centurion in this one. All right, so up next we have, I think that's going to be a in detailed topic that we're going to cover now. The PTU feedback increased server cap. So some of you may have noticed that we have increased the server cap today. That was on a few days ago. What's today? Yeah, this was a few days ago. So we're going to continue our experiment with different server populations, and we'd like to have some of your thoughts. We're starting out at a pack of pack at 100 players and slowly lower it down. Specifically, we're curious about what performance of server-related systems seem to worsen, what issues consistent regardless of 50 or greater. What issues are consistent regardless of 50 or greater server population? What scenarios you detected that showed the worst behavior? And what scenarios did not seem to be impacted at all? Looking forward to hearing from you. So, did anyone participate in this?
Well, we went in. Oh, go ahead, go, Rodney.
Oh, well, I was going to say I did. And yeah, it's been interesting. Many persons have been experiencing different things, but I think the general consensus is that it's pretty much the same. And it wasn't necessarily there to test to see, okay, how gameplay is with additional players. It was just their own test to see how their own instances actually are and to address any kind of issues that they may not see with 50 players. But the byproduct is that, hey, the gameplay experience has generally been the same, I think, for me personally. But yeah, you pops.
Oh, we went in and we had a few issues, quite a few issues.
Quite a few. Did you report them?
No. No.
I mean, these are issues that are pretty much already there.
Because
Elevators.
it's hard to tell whether or not it's related. I'm not sure how they would, separate that if it's a below 50 bug or if it's a 100 bug. I mean, I don't know how you separate it, to specifically answer that question. So, but we caught a few things, disconnects, and Orison was just absolutely horrible. But
Dang, Kaladi, you're on a server with 112 people?
Yeah, I just went to the main menu and right-clicked on a friend on the list. 95 out of 112.
So they did say in a post, like literally today, we're gonna have we're gonna be testing all different configurations of things. So we're gonna have like sometimes we'll spin up a server that's got 70 people. Sometimes we'll spin up one that's got 250 people. Sometimes we'll spin up one that's got 80 people. And not only are they like doing various tests on how many people are in a server at once, but they're also doing various tests on like trying to stream in and out items or trying to do this and that. And I think to the larger point, when they first put this in, like they said, hey, like before, like nobody had even noticed anything. And they said, they just put it in. And then some people noticed and they were posting on Spectrum saying, what the hell? I'm in a server that's got like 100 people. What's going on? And then a guy in Spectrum was like, Captain, I know everything. And he was like, oh, they've done this before. It's an error. They're just reporting that there's more people in there than there are. And then underneath him, a CIG dev said, well, no, actually, there are that many people in the server. we're just testing stuff, whatever. And then people ran with it and they immediately said, holy crap, that's it. 317.2 is going to have servers with, hundreds of people and,
Right.
and the streets are paved with gold and and then it was either, I think it was Jake then posted like
Jake.
an hour or two later, like, hey guys, chill out. We're not bringing this to live yet. We're whatever. And then everybody got bummed. But it's like, I think you need to take a step back and look at, this is exactly how they should do this. You test it and fail. You learn, you test it better and fail. You learn, you test it better and fail. You learn. And then after 4 or 8 or 96 rounds of testing, when they actually have it working right, that's when they say, hey guys, for 3.18 or for 4.0 or for whatever, we're going to up it to this level. When you have very high certainty that it's going to work, because when you tell people, hey, we're going to bring this in, oh, sweet Jesus, people get entitled. And if it doesn't work, they immediately get super hostile. So like, they're doing this exactly how you should. And like, don't be bummed that they said they're not rolling it out to live yet. They shouldn't. They should play, fail, test, learn, do better, and then bring it out when it works right.
Exactly.
Okay,
I
so
have a
then
question.
are you saying, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You first.
I was just going to say to your point then, Kai, do you think we should do our due diligence in testing it? So let's go on ahead and get like 200 people to see if we can push the servers to their limits.
Sure. Did you see that video too where Tarada did
Yes.
he
Don't
came
get ahead of the show. Don't get ahead of the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're covering that. No, beautiful.
Fortune telling.
Beautiful.
No, my thing is that maybe somebody can answer this, Karate, or I know Karate does a lot of investigation things. How do you, first of all, how do you tell? Is it just what are they looking for as far as 100 reporting 100, like NPCs acting crazy? Because we went on and the elevators were acting up. Now I don't know if the elevators had is a byproduct of the 100.
If you don't mind me jumping in, Calrati, just for a second, Pops, I want to be real careful because of his status. He really shouldn't be answering any questions about PTU unless it's just real general stuff as to why they're doing it. But I will say this. The last patch that came out, they mentioned that there was a bug that came back because they had fixed the elevators before that.
Yeah.
And then this came back. So yes, they are working on the numbers like Kai said. As you all know, we're trying to get ready for 4.0 next year. So at some point, like Kai said, they have to start doing this. This is not the first time that they've opened up the numbers with us. This has happened before. It's just that this time it's happened on a much larger scale. They brought us up to 100. The other day they brought us back down to 60. So the numbers have been fluctuating up and down. But in order to get ready for either 18 or get ready for 4.0, because you've been on the show with us, Pops, before, and we've said the universe will be very empty if the numbers don't go up by the time we get to Pyro.
Right.
So this is just all a part of that process. And as you mentioned, one of the big issues has been AI, because as you know, whenever we have full servers, that's when you start to see the AI get wonky. And in this case, it's been kind of the same thing. But they've been even wonky even when there have been a few people in there now. So there's a lot of stuff that they're working on. But whys they're doing it and everything, I don't want to put him in a funky spot with that, because they're limited in what they can say. And whatever we know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know. I'm just saying I didn't want him to be in a spot for that. So
for any listening on at home, Kilrati is actually secretly Chris Roberts' long lost love child.
Exactly.
So you don't want to put him in a spot.
Oh man.
But
Starting
one of the things we noticed when we were in there is that we got interdicted, and that hadn't happened. I don't know, maybe a year more for us.
Yeah, that came back in 17, 1 and 2. Yeah, they just pop up every once in a while now. But you're right.
Yeah, but we got into like a fight.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, they're stepping up the AI piece, that they're much more interactive, both in atmospheric stuff, in space. I've had less cops stopping me, though. That I will say. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had a lot of the typical when you pull into a station, you almost get a cop coming in and out. I haven't had that as much on this particular patch.
Yeah. Do you think that they passed that new law that being that they stop folks And now that they
is that what it is?
getting reprimanded.
Maybe it's because I know my First Amendment rights. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Oh,
I
that
know
might,
my rights.
that might get you in more trouble.
I think that's a cue to move on. So
Yes.
what we're gonna do?
Actually,
We've
wait,
got the
wait,
video.
hold
We got
on real
some video
quick.
to look at. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, we got
just
the
real
video
quick
to look at.
to transfer it away from that topic, but to stay on the topic on a serious point, I think the reason why you're getting more stops by cops
No,
is
less.
there.
I'm saying less.
Well,
He said interdictions. I'm
right,
talking
right.
I'm talking about the cops that stop you to tell you, we're coming to check you to scan you stuff. I've had less of that, but definitely more interdictions.
I suspect that those are going to go back up by a long shot because as they add in more smuggling gameplay loop, that's part of that loop. I think so. There might be pulling part of that offline just for the moment to test some stuff, fix some stuff, and then reintroduce it even more. So I think you should expect that's coming back big time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I had these guys stop me, and I hadn't even taken off on the pad. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on the pad, and they're stopping me to scan. Me. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
They were like, yeah. And meanwhile, Griff's like, what? A black man can't fly Origin?
That's
What's going on?
Right.
What's
Right.
going
Excuse me,
on?
sir.
Oh.
Excuse me, citizen.
Right, I know exactly.
Show me your ID.
Man.
So yeah, this is as Kai mentioned before. Tirada did a thing where he had 100 players into an atmosphere, and I took the video and I made it bigger so people can now check it out. But yeah, this is pretty cool. This is only like what 50 seconds long, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know what server this was, but I guess it was a few days ago. I am curious about why some ships are exploding, but yeah, that
You gotta talk to that silly Hercules pilot.
Yep, right there.
I noticed what it was.
Right there.
But why did that ship explode? But yeah, this is what
Look
they
at
were
him. Look
talking
at
about
him
before,
doing a
yeah.
dolphin dive. Stay in your lane.
Yep.
See?
Boom.
There we go. Yep.
And it took out someone behind him too, I think. So yeah.
And the Cutlass Grant too.
There was also the Hercules that kind of like nosedived a little bit hotter, and then I don't know. It's almost like the atmosphere like burned him up because he wasn't aerodynamic anymore.
No, what happened is, if you can see it, there was a smaller Titan, or I believe a smaller ship that was in front of him. He dove and then came back up and then hit that smaller ship.
Oh, that's what happened? I didn't see that. It
Yeah,
didn't look like that.
he should have stayed in his lane. He was in his lane, stayed there. He's fired.
You watch the Hercules here. That's right in the center.
The blue
Right in
one.
the center.
The blue
No,
one.
the white
Look for the
one,
blue one. Look at the blue one. The blue one is the one that you want
I
to look.
see
See
that
him
one, but
diving.
to the left.
Watch him come right back up. Boom. See him hit it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
There you
okay.
go.
Right there. Okay.
You know, one thing I think is, I mean, the shots are amazing, but what I think is even more amazing is how they got all these people together. And,
right.
Well,
That's
that's
Tirada.
That's
Yeah,
Tirada now.
Tirada.
You got to remember,
No,
depends on who's
okay.
doing it, because Tirada, he does all the low flying stuff. He's got a team of people. All you got to do is put the word out, and they show up. These ain't no
Okay.
randos that are out there. He knew exactly what they were doing when they did this.
Okay.
Oh.
And imagine like the organization that just say, okay, guys, we're going to reach here and then we're going to go down to the planet all at the same time. And on my word, go. I mean,
Go.
Wait a minute,
Right.
I hate
man.
to tell you this, Fastcart. That's not supposed to be difficult. I hate to tell you that.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
really
hard. That's not
supposed to be difficult. Now, people make it difficult, but it is not supposed to be difficult. But it
Yeah,
is
that's what we
beautiful.
do when we go into Jump Town together, right? We all
Exactly.
meet up at an orbital marker.
Yep.
All right, let's go. You know, everybody match speed, so we come in at the same time. Nobody separate.
Yep. But it is beautiful. It is
That
nice.
button works
Yeah.
again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you hit the other one, Fastcart, with the other video too? Because the other one's a little bit longer when we talk about that.
Yeah,
too.
so this is from a Reddit post that had to bring our 890 up to the 100 player shipping meet, and this is the video. So yeah, here we go. I turned on the audio, but yeah.
In
So-
particular, the fact that you guys are back in the day, people would do ship meets all the time, but usually it might be about 20 to 30 ships. Usually that's about the most you could get before either a server crashed on you or somebody crashed your party. But on this particular occasion, you can see just the excitement of the fact that people can be able to bring those many ships into a space, still have some good frame rates, and and actually have a good time. If you want to, FC, you can speed up a little bit past the halfway point, because they also showed people inside the ship. And one of the things they showed was these scenes where there were 20, 30 people, 40 people inside an 890. So, trying to see what this is going to be like later on when we get larger ships like the Idris, so on and so forth, is going to be really interesting. But nobody's complaining about frame rates. You're not seeing any funky animations. Graphics seem to be moving pretty well and everything. So they're getting there with the
That's
tech.
cool.
Yeah, fighting for a chair by the pool there.
Yeah.
Are they?
I love that many players together. That's awesome. This is Star Citizen is a true MMO as opposed to there are some other MMOs out there. Elite Dangerous is basically really a 90% single player game, maybe 5% to 8% co-op, and the rest of it is like it's an MMO in the sense of you can do things in the world like background sim to affect things that other people affect, but Star Citizen is a true MMO. And also with regard to the Tirada video of them all coming in, as someone who's on multiple occasions interviewed FDev employees and said, hey, when Odyssey comes out and we're going to be able to go down on planets with atmospheres, I'm super, super excited. I really hope that you guys put something in there with regard to like the ship would jitter and you'll have like the entry effects where like there's fire around the ship and whatever. And I just every time I see that in Star Citizen, I'm so impressed by it. It looks so beautiful.
If I gotta ask you a personal question, from looking at this video, right? How do you feel about the Eclipse fitting in the 890 jump?
No, I didn't. Eclipse. You can't even get an Eclipse in the 890 jump.
Look at it. Look at it.
No, not in. Oh, he turned it sideways and put
Look
it in.
at it. Look at it. Look at that video.
Let me ask you a stupid question. For what reason?
I'm just saying. I don't know about the reason.
No. For what reason?
Because you can.
Yeah, no. See, obviously, these are the people of the lower common mentality that think this way, if you know what I mean. So,
I would have.
By the way, the stream is off on Twitch.
It's back. It's back. It's back for me.
Okay. I mean, that's just like when I watch. I won't get started. Don't get me started.
Okay.
Here's the thing, Griff.
No, when I hear people talk about, you can put 2 tonks on that sucker and go out. Are you kidding me? No.
Here's the thing, Griff. Here's the thing you have to know about Origin pilots. They are known for their benevolence and their charity. So of course they'll help out the less fortunate.
Yeah. Okay. That's one way to look at it, Kai. I appreciate that.
By the way, I want to say thank you to Bird25 for the subscription. He said, "Love you all. We love y'all too." So thank you for that.
This guy standing on the bar would just get shot and tossed out the airlock.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Oh wow.
Now there is an interesting aspect I want to talk about with the swimming pool stuff. Notice the people who decided to get undressed and dress down to their shorts. Look at the people who are still wearing armor and walking around. And it's interesting to see how the difference in aspect of people thinking about immersion and role play versus the people who are, well, don't get me wrong, some people might be wearing an armor because they weren't about hitting one of them pockets where there's no oxygen on the ship. But like the guy wearing the top hat standing in the middle of the water. Interesting, right?
Right.
So I'm just saying different people have different attitudes about how they approach the game. Some people literally strip down and get into what they see around them. Other people just kind of come in and hang out and look around. I'm curious to see how much that starts to change in the game, whether or not people will actually respond to their environments. Will people start taking off their uniforms or their suits when they get in ships? You know what I mean? Because they know that there's, now we've been doing it as a safeguard because we hit those pockets where there's no oxygen, but once that's gone away, will people actually put on casual clothes and sit down in the dining room in the Carrick or at the pool table? Or will they still be wearing 2 rifles on their backs and grenades and a full set of heavy armor playing pool? Question. I'm curious to see that.
Let me ask you this though, to your statement. Like, do you think that CIG should implement certain designated areas or missions where you have to go in and plain clothes?
There are things that they're going to do, for example, like they told us about the fact that you won't be able to fly your ship in medium or heavy armor. You're going to have to take it off. You're going to have to take your backpack off. There's going to be, so as long as they build in things in the game that make sense about it, that's why you got the lockers, all that other good stuff. Even limiting inventory is a factor in doing that. Like right now, inventory is ridiculously big, but eventually they're going to limit that even more. So that it forces you to have to use your locker on your ship or your gun racks versus having, like we can't put rifles in there now, but you can put pistols and stuff in your backpack,
Right.
So
And they-
remember, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well,
No,
no, they've also said that they were going to implement with regard to the reputation system where certain people were going to look at you funny or not interact
That's
with you as
exactly
favorably.
what I was going to talk
if
about.
you
Right.
were standing there with weapons or whatever, as
Right.
opposed to freshly showered and in a nice suit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to take off your stuff in your ship when you get in the hangar, or do you want to walk all the way to customs and either have to surrender your stuff, or they just tell you can't come in unless you go back and take that stuff off? So as long as they have stuff in the game, you know what I mean, that makes it a part of the gameplay, I think that players will adapt to it. It won't be a big deal. But then there'll be those other places, like for example, Lorville. If you don't come through the main gate, you know what I mean, through the hangars, and you come through the back, you can come in with weapons, but you got to be careful then, because maybe if guards see you with weapons, or if you draw weapons, it becomes a whole nother factor, So as long as they make it around making sense in the game, to me, I'm digging it, But I don't want this just mandatory. You know what I mean? I want it to make sense that people willingly know that when I go here, I've got to take this off or I've got to put this away.
Now, Griff, okay, question for you. So we know now that if you're wearing a helmet, you're using your oxygen, even if you're in a location that has oxygen.
Good point.
We also know that ships have a limited amount of oxygen for X amount of people. So they had 30 people in this ship. How many people can an 890 actually support?
Yeah, I mean, an 890 is designed to hold. It's one of the ships that will carry a lot of people, right? I mean, they demonstrated that when they did their trailer for it, right? They had a full party of maybe 40, 50 people that were there for the party. So they sold it on a ship that's capable of doing that. But to your point, Admiral, people are going to have to think about the fact that when oxygen, like right now, I think it's like maybe 40. It used to be 40 minutes of oxygen in a suit. If they cut that down to 30 minutes or 20 minutes and it takes you that long just to get from here to there, then obviously people are going to have to take that helmet off. They may be able to keep the suit on, but that helmet's going to have to come off. And then, as you mentioned, they talked about the ships will have filtering systems. And if a ship says that it's for an accommodation of, let's say 10, let's say it's a Phoenix, and they say you can carry 6 people on a Phoenix, and then you decide to put 23 people on there, as you mentioned, the scrubbers are not going to be able to clean that oxygen fast enough. And so there's going to be carbon monoxide in the air, and it's going to become a problem later. So people are going to have to think about that, which also forces people to say, instead of all of us piling into this one ship, we've got to take 2 or 3 ships, which means now you've got a different dynamic of gameplay that takes place, right? So again, as long as the stuff makes sense in the game, you know what I mean, then people will do it, but if it gets like something they do and say, oh man, that's stupid, why do I have to do that? Then, it's going to be a problem.
I decided to look it up because I was curious. So it says for 890 jump, minimum 3 crew, maximum 8 crews. So
that's crew, not passengers.
Crew, right? That's
crew plus passengers,
right. And crewing is based upon, if I'm remembering correctly, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I thought it was based around logouts and how many people it takes to operate the ship efficiently. Yeah, beds. Yes. Because there's 6 crew members, 8 crew member rooms down in that thing, I think. I forget. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, fastcart.
Before we move on, I just want to say, so yeah, I paused on them putting the clips inside the 890J. I don't know how to do it. When I was watching it the first time, I was like, "Oh, that thing's going to explode." It had to explode, but somehow I'm impressed. They got it in.
You know what my issue is, seriously, for some ships? I'm such a realist when it comes to simulations like this. My thing is what's practical. If a ship can get in and out of there quickly, and it's not a matter of multiple turning it a certain way or at a certain angle, you got to stop everything in the game to get it in. That's a waste of time for me. I get the idea of doing it for the fun of it and saying, hey, can this fit in, can this get, but when it comes to practically playing in the game, I'm not going to sit there and wait for somebody to squeeze this sucker in with 3 inches on each side. That's not going to happen for me.
And damage your ship.
And tear up your ship. Yeah, I'm not doing all that, But for the fun of it, hey, have fun. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know what that'd be good for, Griff? Star jumps. What is the he said he was gonna have will you fit in the hangar that
for the Endeavor.
Yeah, all of those things. So do it in there.
Okay.
All right. So up next we have instead of this week having ISC is going to return next week. we have a Star Citizen review from Drew Wagar. So this is about 13 minutes long. So
Can we,
let's check
before you
this
jump
out.
into that? Yeah, before you jump into it, real quick, I was hoping DK was going to be here because I was hoping he could do an
He's in
intro to
chat.
this. But he's not in here, is he?
Yeah, okay.
DK, jump in the chat.
DK,
can
jump
you
in,
jump
man.
in?
There he comes. He's coming. He's coming.
Okay, yeah, if he can jump in, I'd like him to do at least an intro about Drew and why this video is kind of important to watch.
All right, so you have to stall for us, fastcart.
There he is. He's here.
He's already here.
I'll jump in. Yep. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey.
what's
DK.
happening?
Hey, DK. Have you
And
had time to watch
welcome,
this,
J2.
DK? Have you
Oh
had time
no,
to watch
I
it?
haven't had a chance to watch that. I've been
Okay.
I was away from it for a minute.
Can you give some background on it? It's basically his 6-month review on it. So can you give some folks some
Yes.
background on Drew a little bit?
Yes, so Drew Wagar, he is a writer, an author, and he has gotten into the Elite Dangerous community through writing. He wrote a lot of, he wrote quite a few books based in the Elite universe. Some of those stories made it into the lore for Elite Dangerous
Actually, both
itself. Both of
Yeah.
them, yep.
Of the books
And,
that he wrote. Yeah.
And it's amazing what the kind of things that he's created that have told the stories that are now living within that game. In fact, Frontier Developments, he had a relationship with them to begin writing. And correct me if I'm wrong, Kai, because you know just as much as I do on this one. To write some of these stories and write some of this lore that went into the game itself. Now, recently, over the last year and a half or past year, he's kind of drifted away from Elite and actually put out a few videos where he said, I'm no longer going to be doing anything for Elite. He was kind of jaded by what happened with Odyssey. He really wasn't into FPS gameplay. That really wasn't his thing. And he started to kind of branch out and took a close look at Star Citizen. And he jumped into it with the innocence of this game has a lot of things that I wasn't expecting from or didn't really care for in Elite, but in this game it's a different story, it's a different tell. And coming into the game as a writer, as a science fiction writer, his look at the game is through those eyes of, can I tell a story in this game? And as he started getting into it, he was really looking closely at the things that would be viable for storytelling, as opposed to kinds of other content that we look at, like FPS and combat and all this other kind of stuff. He took time, in his first stream, just walking around. I think he was at ArtCorp.
Being
I can't
amazed.
remember. Yeah, just walking around and just looking at every single little detail and just being amazed. And then Griff, you and I went on to his stream, and I think this was like one of the first times he actually was, grouped up with anyone. And we just him on a few ships, and he had so much fun just looking around at the different ships and learning about the history and the all the information behind them. He's really starting to get into the lore of Star Citizen, and I think that's really cool because from his standpoint, he sees it a lot differently than other players do. So he's starting to lean more into that. And I think it's really great that we have such a important person in the science fiction community that is now looking into Star Citizen, and I could see him being a very big person in the lore department of writing stories based in the Star Citizen universe. I wouldn't be surprised if you wrote another book.
Let me cut in there just so you guys will know. Paul has had him on the show. Guys know Paul's big on lore, and they had great interview. If you guys get a chance, go to Astropubs.
Yes.
He had a talk with Drew. And thank you, DK, for sharing that. But I wanted to say that because he is, as DK said, he is also a noted science fiction writer. So it's not just about Elite. Kai, is there anything you want to throw in about him that you're going to before we get this started?
He is the creator of the most beloved character in Elite Dangerous. He is the creator and the writer of the Salome character.
Oh my God, such a great story.
He he wrote the book Retribution that introduced that character, and then brought that character in a second time in a whole like searching for Raxla kind of storyline in the second book. Good, a good author. I've read both the books; they're pretty good. I've interviewed him and spoken with him on a couple of occasions. Real nice guy. He is now, as DK said, indicated that he's kind of done with Elite, and he has been streaming and enjoying both Star Citizen and No Man's Sky a good bit recently, and he's talked a good bit about how he loves both games for very different reasons. They scratch very, very different itches, and I think that's an important thing to keep in mind with regard to Star Citizen. Of there's a lot of things that, you know, Star Citizen in its current alpha buggy state, there's a lot of things that Star Citizen does not do as well as plenty of other games that you can go to. You can point to, well, this game does this more smoothly. This game is more filled out for that. And this game is more this for that. But there's also some things that Star Citizen does that nobody else offers. And that makes it a very sort of important, that's why I think a lot of players keep coming back to it.
Okay. All right, cool.
So,
All right,
this video is 13 minutes long, so grab a snack, get something to eat, drink, or what have you. So here we go.
Welcome to the Verse, citizen. My name is Drew Wagar, a lifelong fan of detailed and immersive space games. After many months of playing Star Citizen, it's time for a more retrospective review of this remarkable game. After playing for a considerable period of time, does the game lose its shine, or does it simply become even more compelling? The Star Citizen requires quite the investment of time, energy and concentration to approach it. It's an absolute behemoth in the space game genre, a game whose scope, range, complexity and detail is pretty much unparalleled. Ensuring your PC can run the game is an early consideration, as Star Citizen is pretty demanding. Despite this, a mid-range PC is more than capable of running the game and running it well, with key optimizations made. Chief amongst these is the amount of memory available. 32GB is very much recommended. The Star Citizen community provides some excellent advice in terms of how to set up your PC for best effectiveness, and any new player would be well advised to take note. Another major asset to the new player experience is the free fly events, allowing potential players to try out the game without having to pay anything in advance to see if it's for them. Whilst this does tend to overload the servers to a degree, resulting in some reduced performance, it's an admirable way to offset any objections to the cost of accessing the game. On that point, it is very much not necessary to spend much money to enjoy the complete Star Citizen experience. At the time of composition of this video, the cheapest startership pledge, and note you're technically not buying a completed game here, is $45. This gives you access to everything that is in the game in terms of gameplay mechanics, and there is no need to buy a more expensive ship unless you wish to do so, though there certainly is the option to spend quite a lot of real money for a virtual spacecraft. The bigger spacecraft can be earned in-game by carrying out tasks and missions for the in-game currency. The only caveat here is that, due to its alpha state, personal progress can and has been reset in the past, which means only the assets you've paid for, with real money, are guaranteed to be permanent at this time. Potential players should ensure they understand these limitations prior to committing to Star Citizen. Star Citizen's environment is very much a high-tech science fiction universe in the gritty realism vogue of TV shows and films like The Expanse and Firefly. Humanity has reached for the stars in a big way, but taken most of its problems along for the ride. Thus the player can expect to encounter violence and conflict in many locales. This is familiar territory for space games, and the inspiration for Star Citizen can be clearly seen in prior art such as the Wing Commander series and titles such as Freelancer. Where Star Citizen breaks the mould is in the execution. The universe of Star Citizen is not a series of component parts hooked together by barely hidden loading screens, nor is it a series of cookie-cutter locales repeated ad nauseum in different places with minor variations. The Star Citizen universe is, far more than any other space game, a genuine place in which the player finds themselves, In terms of the overused word immersion, Star Citizen pushes the benchmark far beyond the reach of any other space game thus far. The sheer scale of this is hard to convey without taking any prospective player on a lengthy tour. Suffice to say that the locales are huge, unique, and are crafted with astonishing care and attention to detail, both large and small. Some environments have a utopian feel, with shiny polished surfaces and a curvilinear architecture showcasing the high-tech and high-cost nature of those worlds. By contrast, some places are starkly oppressive, with hard angles, a deliberate lack of aesthetics, and a layer of grime and usage indicating the type of clientele that live there. In between these extremes are diverse cityscapes, floating megastructures, ice-bound communities, planets with dense pollution, and a panoply of vast and convincingly realised space stations. Whilst the Star Citizen universe is currently limited to a single star system, though there is another due and more have been promised in the future, there is more variety to see here than can be found in the ubiquity of some procedurally generated environments. The detail in these locales is an order of magnitude greater than any other space game thus far. Rather than the generic departure lounge, landing pad or shopping mall areas reused over and over again with minor variations on lighting and decoration, in Star Citizen there is no sense of the typical limitation of assets being reused again. Players will encounter a diverse range of bars, shops, promenades, parks, various different internal transit systems, exhibitions, medical facilities, equipment manufacturers, mines and prisons, alongside the aforementioned landing pads and spaceports. All of these are lovingly crafted to exhibit a sense of realism and atmosphere, each exuding a sense of place that is extremely memorable. From the seedy bars of grim Hex, to the viewing gallery of the Microtech spaceport, the polluted industrial complex of Lawville, and the curated parks of the floating cloud city of Orison, each environment is starkly different to the last, with detail right down to unique doors, plants, decoration, floor tiling, switches, and often very mundane mechanisms such as showers, cubicles, and cooking utensils. Crucially, the environments aren't static either. You will encounter the obvious NPCs moving around, occasionally doing some odd things due to glitches in their code, but at a bigger level you'll see container ships moving to and fro, other vessels arriving and departing. Even the transit system can be seen to be operating, and if you miss your train, another will be along in a moment. The transport system, allowing the player to move quickly around the ground-based installations of the Star Citizen universe, is perhaps the ideal vehicle to explain the key fundamental underpinning of Star Citizen that lifts it far above all other space games to date, something that has been dubbed physicalization. Simply put, everything in Star Citizen exists in the game world. The train you catch is not a loading screen between locales. It's a physical container which moves around the game world regardless of whether or not any players are using it. As such, if you board such a train, another player can see you depart or arrive in it, and, if they have a sufficiently fast craft, fly alongside you in their spaceship and see you within the compartment. In another example, it's possible to walk or drive, using the in-game vehicles, between the locales that are served by the rapid transport systems. It takes a while, but it is actually possible. This affords dynamic gameplay opportunities that no other game can realise. There is more than one way to do something. Additionally, you aren't limited to the handcrafted locales. All of the surface areas of the planets within Star Citizen can be visited at player whim. You can go where you like, land where you like, and explore where you like. This approach to realism extends to everything in the Star Citizen universe. Packages can be physically picked up and stored aboard vehicles. Some vehicles can be parked within other vehicles and transported around. Players can make choices between what they carry not just based on a simple stats in a menu, but in actual physical space. As a result, Star Citizen has no peers at the present time in regards to the sense of being in the science fiction universe the player inhabits. Walking around the various environments is compelling in of itself. Often there are ships on display in showrooms inviting prospective customers aboard. And this brings us to another major draw of Star Citizen, the interior of spaceships. Many games have put us in the cockpit of a spacecraft before now, but none have really allowed us to climb aboard via a ladder, an airlock, or a rear cargo bay hatch into a genuine interior space. The ships in Star Citizen are actual physical places with cargo bays, cockpits, recreation areas, bunks, common rooms, engineering spaces, and various compartments. Players can move around in these spaces at any time, even when the ship is in flight or in dock, again providing a unique sense of being in the game universe, unparalleled in any other space title. Some ships even have large panoramic windows, comfy seats or conference rooms from which the players can enjoy the vistas of the Star Citizen universe. And the vistas are there. Star Citizen features a few barren and lifeless surfaces, the MVP of the space game genre, but more often than not there's atmosphere, weather, which is often pretty extreme, and a functioning ecology and geology too. Crucially, Star Citizen moves on from the desert planet, ice planet trope. The worlds in Star Citizen have different biomes depending on the latitude and altitude at which you land. What might be temperate at the equator becomes an icy wilderness at the poles. Players can visit rich and majestic savannas, ice-locked mountains, polluted industrial wildernesses, volcanic mesas, oceans, and there's even a river in the latest update. All the basic gameplay features one would expect are present, if still in a nascent state in some areas. Space combat, piracy, trading, mission running, reconnaissance are all present, some with voice-acted comms to add to the experience. These missions immediately become more involved due to the physicalization mentioned above. Need to deliver a package? It's not just a button click on a menu. You actually have to pick up the package, put it somewhere on your ship, fly somewhere, and then deliver it. The sheer scale of Star Citizen is overwhelming at the outset. There are a lot of skills to acquire and the learning curve is pretty steep. Ships, controls, your inventory, all have complexity associated with them. You have to interact with things in person a lot of the time, but this all adds depth to the gameplay over time. This is where the community around the game comes to your aid, with dozens of veterans happy to assist new players in becoming acclimatized. The multiplayer aspect of the game is also a big draw. Star Citizen does not have modes in which players can choose not to interact with others. The universe is what it is, and thus players have to exercise due caution at all times. If you prefer a single-player environment, this is perhaps not the best game for you. But Star Citizen rewards cooperative gameplay better than most space games. Players can escort other ships, take ships with different roles to fulfill tasks, and share the rewards of missions. With ship interiors, some players can pilot the vessel and provide air cover to other players who are aboard, kitted out with personal weaponry to conduct a ground assault. And by contrast, you can arrange to have another player fly your ship, whilst you relax in the bar. The possibilities are endless. With all this complexity and possibility comes the key issue with Star Citizen as it stands today. There are bugs, some of which can throw a major wrench into your gameplay, undoing all the work you've put into that session. Some are more minor irritants requiring a relog into the game universe. NPCs will often display bizarre behaviour, and ships may behave erratically for no obvious reason. The game is an alpha, and it's been a long time in gestation. It's a decade now since development began. Many more features are planned, but the roadmap to those features has been decidedly fluid at times. Potential players are well advised to take a good, long, hard look at whether they're prepared to accept the downsides to venturing into the Star Citizen universe. Yet, after many months of playing this game, it's clear there is literally nothing like this elsewhere. Other games feel narrow and confined by comparison. If you're a true fan of immersive space games, there is nothing that can touch Star Citizen's scope, execution, flair, or attention to detail. Once you've experienced walking around within your own vessel whilst travelling between planets, or unloading a land vehicle from your cargo bay to go exploring, having brought your ship down from orbit, or just ordering a well-deserved beer at one of the many space bars, no other space game comes even close. Star Citizen truly is what it claims to be, a first-person universe to inhabit.
Alright, so yes, we're starting with the Drew Wagar video. So folks, let's go in order.
I had handed it off to J2 already, so we can start with him.
Okay. No, J2, what are your thoughts?
He's got a real nice voice. Yeah, no, it was a pretty good video. I think he was a little I don't know, I tend to be a little more critical of things. He sounded like certain things were maybe a little sugar-coated.
Let me
Slightly.
what you might have, I don't know if you heard the intro to this, but Drew just came to the game within the last 6 months. So his
Yes.
perspective is definitely much more from a person who's
Exactly.
you know
Yeah,
what I mean,
I
within
yeah.
the 6 months.
Those of us
Okay.
that have been around a while are a
Yeah.
bit more jaded.
Yeah, exactly. But go ahead, bud.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much my feelings on it. It was, other than that, it was I think it was a good video. It was a good explanation of things. You know, for someone who doesn't know, who hasn't been around, you know, it's a I think it's a reasonable explanation of, you know, a primer of what Star Citizen is and what you can expect.
Okay. I think we have Kaizen. What
So
are your thoughts?
I get where J2 is coming from, but I kind of had a different take on it. I felt like if you listen to the video, he did a fairly good job of calling out like the pluses and minuses. He was saying like, you know, this isn't where it's supposed to be yet. This is good. That's not. This can be an issue. That, you know, recommend it for players who are okay with this, but not for players who will be bugged by that. I thought it was pretty well balanced. Obviously, as a story person, Drew isn't playing the way we are, where he's doing the, you know, Siege of Orison event and running around and doing bunkers and grinding whatever. He's just kind of wandering around with the writer's eye and looking at like what you can do in the verse to sort of make your own fun. I mean, he literally in Elite did a series of things where he had people come on in a private server, they were playing, and they were like making a storyline and like doing like acting out like kind of like LARPing or whatever. And I think so, from his background, from his perspective, Star Citizen offers so very much in the way of opportunities to do stuff like that. So he, you know, I think that's why he might be a little less critical of some of like gameplay loops per se and more into the abstraction. But I thought it was a really good review from that standpoint.
All right. Thank you.
Hey,
Kalrati.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, man? I thought it was a very interesting, unique, poetic delivery. You know, it was very well delivered in terms of his points and how he wanted to address them. And yeah, I think it was well done. This was definitely my first time seeing the video. So it was on my suggestion list on YouTube for some time, and I was like, okay, I kept wanting to watch it, and it's only now I got the opportunity to. So I really, you know, I'm really glad to see that we were able to also witness another type of perspective on how someone actually, after playing the game for a few months, have experienced the game. And I'm very interested to see, especially when more lore gets integrated into the game, what his perspective on the living, breathing part of the universe, how that becomes more alive. You know, what his perspective and how his perspective will evolve over time. So, especially when Pyro comes. So, I'm very interested to see his review on that.
All right.
But yeah, overall, good job.
Pops, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great orator. I wish I could say things as clearly and precise, and I thought it was very well spoken. He says everything, like I said, I wish I could say as well. And he has a good perspective on the game, a general good perspective on the game.
Cool. All right. Square 2, what are your thoughts?
I did not see the entire video, but if you could post a link, or is there one already posted for it? I'll go back and view it again. But
Yeah, I posted a link.
Okay,
we probably need to repost it because we got broken earlier.
Let me repost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I saw the first half, I'll agree with Pops. It was well spoken. Looked like he had some nice shots of it too. But as I said, I walked out and I had to go do something IRL. And when I came back, I see you guys must have had some kind of technical thing or something. So I've been dealing with that for the last few minutes. But I'll let you guys continue so I don't hold up the process.
Yeah, there's a new video for YouTube. That's why you have to go back out and go to the new URL. But yeah, so okay. Adam Kuchanagi, what are your thoughts?
Oh, me. I thought it was pretty good. Drew's a little. I mean, he's a little soft spoken. He's very. You can kind of hear that the narrative type of writing skill that he has. He's very descriptive of what's going on. I thought what Kai said was kind of on point, where he was like, you might want like a different type of game, like a single player game. But if you do decide to come into this, you might be rewarded for playing with other people. So I thought it was really cool. Is he white knighting it? White knighting it, excuse me. Then maybe I don't think so, because again, he's got 6 months in the game, and I think everybody at 6 months in the game was like, "This is the most amazing thing in the world." And this is way better than when we came in, back in 2015, 2016, or even earlier than that. So, so yeah, this is kind of like groundbreaking for a person just coming into the game right now. I mean, because it was awe-inspiring when I just looked at Port O when I walked out and looked at the rings just circling. I mean and this is just way beyond that. So yeah, I mean, I give him a lot of props for sticking it out with other games and writing for those other games and making stories for people to enjoy. And I'm hoping that he's able to maybe do something that for the community. We'll see if what, if anything, he'll be able to do. But it was a very informative little video. So yeah, much props and love out to the guy.
Okay, Big Back Claiming, are you there? There he is. What
Yeah.
you thought?
How's it going? I think that I'm a lifetime expansion pass holder for Elite Dangerous. Been there since the very beginning, and got killed by Commander Harry Potter in the Salome adventure, and several thousands of hours in that. So I know that Drew still has a robust segment of the community from Elite Dangerous that pays attention to what he submits, what he's submitted about his disappointment with the latest iteration there, and his move to Star Citizen. So the tone and the content of this video, I could very easily see Drew crafting a portion of this with speaking to some of those folks in mind, right? That the idea of, hey, there is a lot of misinformation, maybe even some disinformation in elite circles about Star Citizen, but you've seen some folks make the move. I've now made the move, and here's my assessment that you can trust with regard to this game 6 months in. So I've already seen some sharing in elite circles of this video, and I think it's another data point for folks who have not had great information. But with Drew, I think it's a data point that has a lot more trust than some other data points might have in terms of just educating some of that player base. So I think that it would not surprise me if effective communication to his former colleagues in that space and place was on his mind, because this plays very much like an education for that group in particular, and for folks new to Star Citizen in general. I thought it was very good for that.
All right, thank you. Dark Knight, what are your thoughts?
Big Black Gaming, man, you just laid it out, and I can only add to what you said, because you pretty much said what I was going to say, which is great, because you're understanding it from a community of Elite Dangerous players coming into Star Citizen. I was thinking to myself when we were talking during the outage there that
real quick, Dark,
this
is
is
your mic away from your throat? You're kind of soft.
no. Do you still hear me? You hear me okay?
Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah.
Better now.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe my plug from my mic had moved a little bit, but no, I was going to say, Big Black Gaming, you said exactly what I was thinking, and I wanted to just add on top of that that from a community of playing Elite myself for a long time. I'm not a lifetime insurance, but or a lifetime. But I got into the game in 2017. There's there was a very vocal crowd of Star Citizen is not a game you want to get into. You know, it's a scam, this and that. We'll leave that alone. But the influence that Drew has in that community says a lot. And his going over to the Star Citizen universe and starting to get more interest in and experience in this speaks volumes to elite players that are thinking about something else. FDev is kind of, I don't want to say they are, but they're kind of, you know, putting elite to the wayside. It's kind of like a secondary thing for them now. One of the other things I was thinking is that if I was going to introduce any new person, whether they're coming from Elite or any other game, if I wanted to introduce them to Star Citizen, I think this video would be one of the first ones I would link them to have them watch. Because Drew puts a very good discourse on what this game is and what to expect. And, you know, Admiral, you'd mentioned white knighting. He's not, I don't think at all he's white knighting. I think he is seriously looking at this from a very, a very high level constructive perspective of what this game is, what it is now, what it's what they hope it will be in the future, what to expect, and what you're going to gain from it, and that it is, you know, he clearly just stated, you know, this game is not finished at all, you know. So going into this game, you have to have the understanding that there are going to be things that you're going to experience that you have to be prepared for. And I think he kind of laid that out very well. But he has such a very poignant way of speaking to his audience and speaking to anyone that's watching the video, of very well laying out the experience that he's had and what he is, and what you can expect to experience going into the game. Because I could almost see it if I was brand new to the game and I saw this video, I would have a very good idea of what I'm getting myself into. Probably better than any other content creators I've seen out there that put in a first look at Star Citizen and what to expect. This probably laid it out better than 90% of the other ones I've seen out there from some of the big time creators out there. It's just very well spoken. He took his time, he did his research, he laid it out there, and I very highly respect Drew in the way that he put this together. I thought this was a great piece, and like I said, I didn't see this until just now because it's been on my list, but I've been bouncing around all sorts of other things. No Man's Sky, never mind.
So much content, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So much. So hats off, Drew.
All right, thank you very much. Fifth Space, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, first off, very good video, but also, second is this, I kind of want to start a new category of videos from guys who do reviews. This right here, to me, was a very responsible video. Simply because when you think about it, like Big Black and everybody else has spoke about, he has a audience. And him knowing that he has an audience, he spoke very responsibly about the game. Like you say, he didn't white knight it, but he gave a perspective to think about, for those who listen to him. And that's a very, very big, important thing, especially in today's age, with everything going on, but in gaming, as well. So hats off to you.
Cool. Go Mab, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts. I'm not going to reiterate everything that everybody else said. But I will say he's definitely not white knighting it. I look at this as he's in a new relationship and everything's cool. She's still pretty, right? She's still likes to hang out with her and talk on the phone until fall asleep. It's fantastic. But anybody who's ever been, married, the old saying my uncles used to tell me, that every beautiful woman out there There's some man behind her that's tired of her shit. And that's what a lot of us are at, right? So I mean, so I appreciate his take right now that's coming in, and I think that is important that we remember that feeling, right? And I mean, a lot of us didn't even get to experience the game how he's experiencing it for the first time, because we got drugged through the coals to get here, and he's stepping in where we are miles beyond. So I appreciate his position right now, and I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's exposing where we are to a lot of people that would not have taken a second look. So yeah, good on him. And he got a pretty voice.
Yeah, people in the chat were enjoying his voice. I agree with most people here. I don't think he was white knighting it. I think he was trying to give a fair review. In my opinion, he did give a fair review. Yes, he was excited about it. Yes, he liked it. But he also noted that this game may not meet for everyone. It's funny that like 6 months ago, he was a new player. Now look at him; he's giving reviews for a game. Granted, it's like a new player review, but still, it's a great review for the amount of time that he spent in the game. And I like the tour of the game that he gives. The visuals were I think representative of what to expect in the game. So I give him that. I did like in the beginning. He said that people would need a middling PC to play this game. I remember back in the day, you need a high-end PC to play this game. So it's nice to see how this game had progressed since then. And I like how he gave an explanation of physical eyes for people who may not be familiar with that. So that was great. Griffin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, there were a couple things. Reason why I picked this video too. I do want to make a comment about something GoMap said, because his point was well made, where he talked about being in the honeymoon phase, and then he talked about, but yeah, let some time go by, and then you find out, who you're really with. But the other side of that coin that us men forget about is, remember what it's like when they're gone too. And we sitting around weeping, and we remember how good it was, even with the bad stuff. So, I agree. I think J2 mentioned the point too, that there is this side. I mean, he said it facetiously, but there is this side of us that, has for those of us who've been around for a while, waiting for things, hoping for things, sometimes being disappointed. Those are all realities to the game, and I don't think they should be ignored. But I did appreciate this from two reasons. If you all watch this video, and like a lot of machinimas that we watch, or even other reviews, if you notice, what he showed us was him just moving through the world. It wasn't about highlighting anything in particular. It wasn't about the fancy ships. In fact, Drew's favorite ship still to this day is the Cutlass Black.
Yep.
And he still, when he streams, goes to the back of that ship, opens that back hatch, and looks outside when he's in Quantum, and he is just floored. And Gomab, you said it earlier, in a way, it's good that we hold on to that feeling, because we can get, we can forget the technical achievements, how there are things that we can do in this game that you can't. He says it several times, unlike any other game, or there is no other game out there. And we kind of forget that because we've become very familiar with this universe. But he says it as a reminder. The other thing that kept popping into my head when Drew was talking was, for you old hats in the room, was Carl Sagan, who used to talk about the possibilities. And it sometimes breaks my heart that gamers have forgotten what that means. What are the possibilities of what we can do? I'm not talking about what is CIG building and putting in the game, but I'm talking about what the game could possibly create for us to possibly be able to do. We watched that video earlier of 100 ships sitting outside on the ice, 75, 50 people sitting inside of a ship engaging. We've kind of forgotten. And then when those little bursts like that happen, they kind of remind us again of why we backed this and why we got involved. It's not about the combat. It's not about the mining. I mean, those are all a part of it. But Drew's coming in this as someone who's experienced in science fiction, in writing, has done stuff for other games, has lived long enough to play other games. So he's not somebody to be easily swayed by a pretty screen. But he's speaking from a different perspective because he's been in the Elite. And you guys who played Elite, I played Elite since it was in beta. You guys know Elite is a great game. Visually, there's some dynamic and gorgeous things in there. So it's not about prettiness, but the idea of what you can do and what you can possibly do as a gamer. And that was one of the reasons why I pulled this, because here's a guy who's educated, been in gaming, knows science fiction, well-respected, who's coming to a new game. By the way, those of you who are Elite players know this. His voice for convincing people is powerful, because you and I going to talk to Elite players could mean you could bring all the evidence you want, all the numbers, statistics. They wouldn't care less. But for somebody like Drew to sit here and say, like, look at him right now with that seat. That's what he does. He's fascinated with the fact that you can let a freaking seat down, that you can look out the back door, that a ramp comes down. That says in the genre of science fiction gaming means a heck of a lot. So, I just want you to know that's the reason. There was some reason why I picked this, because he gave himself 6 months. And like DK said, he spent the first 2-3 months just walking around, just looking at stuff. That was his thing. He wasn't like, ooh, here's a great fighter, or here's a great mining ship, or here's a great this, and can I do? He's just blown away walking around and seeing how big and again the possibilities of what this game could be.
Something that made me laugh as you referenced this is that during his first stream, he thought that he was on Microtech, and he was looking at the that big window that showed the mountain. He thought that background was
it was a background. He didn't think it was
he thought
real.
it was just a background. But two people in town said, no, you can actually go there. So he referenced that in his video. So that made me smile. So up next we have the Machinima. Griffin, you want to tell people about this?
Yeah, as you guys know, Zark Media has been one of our friends for a while. We highlighted their videos for quite a while. We haven't done anything from them recently. As you guys know, Zark has kind of changed. He had a whole storyline that he was doing where he was at Hurston, then he got into some issues at Hurston and he left. And so he contacted me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, I've got a new series coming out. And hopefully, he just said, hey, I got a new series, take a look at it. And so I wrote to him and then said, hey, man, we're going to screen your stuff tonight. And he says, well, it's going to be 3 a.m. my time, but I'll look at it tomorrow. So without any further ado, let's take a look at his new series.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Oliver Zark, and welcome to the Zark Media 2952 Career Starting Guide. Purchasing your first trip can be scary, but it's important to get it right, and most of you won't have a clue where to start, so let's talk about which ship you should invest in to give your career the best start possible. These are your 5 best options. Beginning with the cheapest one, the Aurora MR. This is the ship that does it all, but won't leave you really satisfied in any category. The boasting variable for this ship is really its price. And sure, it has the basics. You can fit 3 standard cargo units under its rear body, and in the cockpit you could transport a couple smaller boxes as a courier, or even a friend could ride with you. But to avoid injuries, they better lay down in the sleeping compartment during flight. Delivering cargo in the Aurora won't get you rich. You barely have any firepower and you'll get shot down quicker than an arrowhead sniper rifle shoots down a paper plane. The only career option where the Aurora would be a good option would be as a courier delivering small cargo units, but only up until your employer wants you to deliver cargo in bigger quantities or out of more dangerous locations. The Aurora MR will let new pilots discover the verse, but not really experience it. Just move it, come on. Have it transported to number 6.
Nah, I don't think you can switch actually.
What do you mean I can't switch? Look at that ship back there, it looks like a little toy. This hangar's way too big.
Listen man, I'll just call my supervisor.
Yes, please.
You up to this shit again, Ropping off?
Listen, man, this
Go
guy...
ahead and move your ship, Mr. Zark. Don't worry.
Well, there you go. Now moving on to the next one, a personal favorite of mine, the 100i. Like the Aurora, this is still a ship with barely any fighting capabilities, but it still outperforms the Aurora in many aspects. Just by looking at its design, you can see it's more roomy and accessible, which is beneficial to couriers delivering multiple boxes at once. This does come with a sacrifice though, in that the 100i has half the shield capability of the Aurora. The easy access to its interiors and specifically the bed also makes it a nimble executor of medical aid operations, where you need to extract an injured friend, put him on a bed and take them to the nearest hospital. The 100i also has hydrogen fuel intakes, making it almost impossible to run out of fuel while flying in atmosphere. Its quantum fuel tank size is also bigger than that of the Aurora, so you could comfortably upgrade to a faster quantum drive for those quick jumps around the system. Even though the 100i only has 2 SEU of cargo, it still has more than double the Aurora's stowage size, meaning you can bring more stuff with you to or from your mission areas. If you want to get started as a courier, paramedic, or just touring beautiful locations alone, the speed, the simple interior, and the unique fuel solution of the 100i will let you do that, while also looking sleek doing it. Moving up a tier in pricing, the Avenger Titan sits as the best all-round ship to get for new pilots, at least according to a consensus of already well-established people in the industry. Like the Aurora, the ship is a master of nothing, but it's very close to the top in many categories. It's a ship for new pilots looking to get a comfortable start in their pursuits of becoming a bounty hunter, planet-side mercenary, cargo hauler, or any career relying on a multi-tool, like medical, salvage, or a courier. And for pilots engaging in military operation and defense, the Titan is also a good option as it carries a bigger punch than both the Aurora and the 100i. In the Avenger Titan, you don't really have room for a vehicle, even though with some effort you can actually fit one of Greycat's smallest options. But you have full amenities for a single pilot to stay out in the dark for long periods of time. The Titan has a smaller quantum tank than the 100i though, so if your most important aspect of your first ship is jump capability, the Titan might actually not be for you. But if you're looking at all the opportunities the verse can offer you and you're still not sure about which direction to go from here, the Titan is your best option as it covers a lot of different career paths. Moving on. Actually, I'm thirsty, let's go have a drink first. When you've been working a whole day, what's better than flow? High nutrition variety. Ah, delicious. Alright, let's get on with it. So, which ship could be a better starting option than the Avenger Titan? Well, in this case, it's not a question if it's better, but this next one has functionalities the Avenger Titan is simply too small to offer. From Consolidated Outland comes the Nomad, and while it delivers a similar punch to the Avenger Titan, it also has an extra set of shields to give you more time to respond to threats, as well as a bigger quantum fuel tank to make those longer or faster quantum jumps. And while sporting the best pilot facilities on this list with a bed, bathroom, wardrobe, and sizable cargo capacity, the Nomad really sets itself apart from the other smaller ships by being able to carry a land vehicle. This option, together with a remote ore collector, ROC, lets you embark on your first career step toward becoming a miner. And it might not seem likely to you now, but experienced ROC operators can make some great credits, quickly earning them enough chip to purchase the Prospector, or even a mole. If cargo hauling is more your thing, you should still consider the Nomad. As compared to the Avenger Titan, it has 3 times the cargo capacity, allowing you to quickly excel and make your mark as a serious hauler. The Nomad is also the signature ship of Redline's host Natronics, and getting one just to be as cool as him is reason enough. Moving on. Now, let's say during your months at the Basic Training Academy you met that special someone, and you'd love to explore what the verse has to offer together with them. You're going to have to move up a tier and purchase a multi-crew ship. And the best one for new pilots is the Cutlass Black by Drake Interplanetary. This ship features a turret and a co-pilot seat, remarkable firepower for its size, double the cargo capacity than that of the Nomad, and enough room in the cargo hold to fit one land vehicle each. You have room to stow weapons, armor, and even sleep in the ship. However, this is still Drake we're talking about, and in the case of the Cutlass Black, you won't have access to a bathroom, but in the vacuum of space, I'm sure you'll figure something out. If you're aiming for a career in cargo hauling, bounty hunting, planet-side mercenary work, mining, or just exploring, the Cutlass Black will not leave you disappointed. As a matter of fact, a lot of friends of mine and colleagues here at HubNet have long since gotten their license, purchased more elaborate and technologically advanced ships, but are still constantly returning to the Cutlass Black. Simply because it's such an easy and practical ship to fly, ready to aid you in almost any situation you could come across. That's it for our 2952 Career Starting Guide. We hope you picked something up and wish you well in your coming endeavors. If this guide helped you out, let us know. If it made you want to enroll for basic training and become a licensed pilot yourself, follow the link attached. You can find any of us on HubNet in our channels and servers. And you're more than welcome to drop by and say hello. I'm Oliver Zark, and I'll see you around. Be safe. Right, we're done here. Can I take this Cutlass? Ah, great.
All right, we're back. I was worried if I might crash again, but we made it through. So, yeah, let's go to order. So, I'm Kuznagi. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was very well done. It's nice that he actually, he's doing something differently with his persona here. So it's very cool. He does a great job of just like stitching the stuff together. And I would like to point out that someone did die at the end of that, getting out of that cutlass at the end. So so maybe a little bit of like a tap on the shoulder if you do buy it. So that's it.
Dark Knight, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, great video, Zark. Awesome. My thoughts here. Let's see. I have found love for that 100i. It has become my favorite starter little tiny ship. Especially now that we're going for a wipe, and that ship is awesome for that kind of situation because I can run box missions all day and nobody gives a damn about what I'm doing. Nobody cares, Not gonna go for a little 100 series. But there's some he laid out some really fun information regarding each ship. Dunkel, I hear what you're saying about the Nomad. It's a great ship, and it does that cockpit does kind of have a little bit of compactness to it. So I can see what you're saying about the about being a little claustrophobic in that one. But I think there's some great information there about the different ships for people just starting out, especially solo players and wanting to just get into the game. This is a good video to watch. I do push back on the Cutlass. I don't like the Cutlass. I'm sorry. I really don't. But you know what? To each their own. That's why I love this game. You got choices. You can pick whatever one you want. So, it's this is a really good place to go to figure out what you want to do when you get started in the verse and what ship you want to fly. So great job, Zark.
All right, thank you. Pitch Space, what are your thoughts about the video?
I think this is a good start for him in this I guess I don't know what you would call it, was it a genre? But it's a good look, and for him to do this, especially for new players coming in, as we did talk about this last week or a couple of weeks ago about tutorials for new players. And I think this should be definitely something that's highlighted and and directed towards those new players so they can have an understanding of the game better and what to look forward to.
All right, thank you. Nomad, what are your thoughts?
I mean, quality video from him, man. He's growing and evolving, getting better. what happens when you continue to make content. So it's always good to see the ones that stick to it, right? And they continue to grow in their craft. And he's actually becoming like a crucial part of the Star Citizen story, right? So the more you put out and the higher quality you get, you become synonymous with the storytelling of the verse, and that's the beauty of the community, and it's a lot of the beauty of this game. So good on him.
Cool, thank you. J2, you think he's White Knighting too? No, I'm messing with you. What do you thought, J2?
Was it just me, or did he totally skip the Mustang?
Yeah, he skipped the Mustang, and he skipped over 300.
Jeez, I cannot endorse a video that skips over my beloved Mustang.
I mean, well, yeah.
I was surprised too. I was surprised too, to be honest with you.
Up until recently, I almost would have agreed with him. I've been a fan of the Mustang since the beginning. Even before it had the rework, I loved it. But it was seriously, it was hamstrung by not being able to carry boxes. That's like an essential thing for a new player to be able to do. And the Mustang couldn't do that. So, I couldn't endorse or, recommend that ship to anyone because of that. But now, in 3.17.2, it's got a cargo box.
Well,
You can put boxes in it.
Well, remember, this was dated like a couple of days ago.
Yes.
This is like
Yeah.
just this week, so
I'm only
he had to go
picking.
with the ship that were already out. So
he's just making a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a opportunity to plug the Mustang, because anybody that didn't think much of it in the past, it's got a cargo box
and
now.
it's nice too. It is nice.
Maybe give it a second look. But yeah, aside from that, Zark's always producing excellent content. He's an excellent cinematographer, writer, performer. He does great stuff, and like you guys are just saying, he just continues to get better.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Kaizen, what are your thoughts?
Great little guide, interesting for people that are getting into the game. I mean, let's be honest. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting 10 different guides. Everybody in the verse that is content creating is making guides. But what I think, so when you're doing guides, you need to find a niche. You need to find a hook. You can be that guy who is just the super expert that knows everything, or you could be that guy that's relatable, or you could be, you have to have your in. And while you can find 10 billion guides on starting stuff and whatever, the fact of the matter is you don't see guides very often that are made from the inverse perspective. And I thought that was a very neat hook. That was a choice that he made, where he's making a guide. So it's obviously, hey, you're new to Star Citizen, you're looking at what ship should I get? But he did it not from the, player perspective. He did it in the verse as a character. He had funny, cute little character interactions and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting, and it really sets apart his content from everyone else's. So huge salute. I think that's great. I would love to see him continue his guide and or whatever content series, but from the perspective of in the verse. I think, you have Cosmonaut Magazine, which is an in-verse Star Citizen magazine. You have that was made by a lot of the same people that did Sagittarius Eye magazine in the Elite universe, and that's that made it unique and really, really valuable to me, that it was all in lore. They don't break character.
Cool, thank you. Kaladi, what are your thoughts about the video?
Yeah, it was pretty well put together video. Especially with what Kai said. He actually cemented it in the verse itself. He gave his views and such, and I really respect his efforts when it comes to putting out this content within the game. I can only imagine, him following up with something like, it may not happen with, if he can't find too many players too frequently, but someone, you know, going around seeing random people passing by and asking them, hey, have you checked out this ship, and what are your thoughts in that way? If you're actually making a series on, you know, giving reviews on certain ships or certain manufacturers, you know, so asking different people or stopping them as they go by, hey, what do you think about Aegis ships or RSI starters? Have you tried them? And hearing, you know, what they have to say on the you know, banking on the possibility that they have VoIP, of course. But yeah, for this video, I thought it was really well put together. And yeah, once again, props to Oliver Zark. He's a great person, you know, great personality, and all the best with his future videos.
Cool, thank you. Cotton Page, how about you?
Yeah, I like the point of fact that he touched on what J2's. Well, he didn't get a chance to touch on J2's. Well, I didn't like that. That's true. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but anyway, he didn't touch on the Mustang, which I did notice. He touched on Karate's ship, Griff's ship. And I think these ships, the type of video that he just did, it makes a good point, because you have people, we're used to playing in the game. We know where we want to, pretty much 90% we know where we want to be. But you have new people coming into the game. They don't know where to start, what to do, what ships do. And I think him covering several ships was, you know, it's great thing. You get to see which one can do. So he also gives you a path, you know, a step up path from the beginning up to the Nomad. Let's say, if you want to go that way, if you find out you like it, if if you want to jump into the game and just kind of, you know, I just need something to get in the game because I'm going to jump on my friend's Javelin. It kind of touched on that, but I think we all do need to get in the game and at least fly around, see what that's like, you know, from time to time when you're by yourself and you want to do a box mission or do some cargo. So it was well-rounded video.
Thank you. Square 2, how about you?
Okay, well, I can just echo what everyone else has said about the video. I liked it. I liked the way it was put together. I think the guy is creative and a cinematographer. But the one thing that I will add is that it really shows that over the last couple of years, anyone who's doing a starter video for new players always references these same ships. And that speaks to how well they were designed by CIG as starter ships, because models haven't changed over time. You can look back for videos a couple of years ago and they're talking about the Aurora. They're talking about adding, and I agree with what J2 said earlier, adding the Mustang, because that's now part of it. But again, it speaks to these ships as starter ships, and it gives a wide array of choices for new players. And they can look back over time and see the same group of ships being talked about. And that's pretty much, you know, what I'll say about that. But I did like the video.
All right. Yeah, my thoughts are, I like when he was on the floor with the flashlight in his face. I thought that was funny. Not sure what that was about, but I thought it was funny. And when he took that drink from that soda, I thought that was funny. So yeah, I liked it. My thing was, I was wondering why he didn't include the 300 series, but I guess he went up to the Cutlass and he only wanted to include 5. So. Oh well, I would have swapped the 100 for the 300 for the 100 myself. But did anyone notice that he was walking away from an 890 at the very beginning of the video? He's talking about starting video, but he's walking away from an 890 at the beginning. So
I mean,
yeah,
he's a man of
thought that was
culture.
amusing. Okay, all right. So
That's
Griffin,
right.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was surprised that he went as far as the Cutlass, because his focus was on, to me, getting started in the game. The Cutlass the Avenger is usually like the top of that tier. Even though I know you say the 300 series, but the 300 series doesn't fall into the starter category anyway. I mean, it's in the dollar number value, but as far as a ship for people talking, I've never heard anybody recommend a 300 to get started. The Nomad, it usually goes to, and the Avenger, people who say, if you want to spend a little more money, go to the Avenger. And that's usually where it stops. He did try to go into entry-level multi-crew, which might be why he went to the Cutlass.
Yep.
What I liked about this was he found a pro and con for every ship. and he distinguished each ship to have certain things that you may like this in this ship where someone else didn't like this, but they like that. I mean, even he made the MR sound good. I mean, he could have picked a whole bunch of other ones. Most
Excuse
people,
me?
no, I don't mean that from a bad point. Most people who talk about the Auroras, they default to the LN a lot of times because of the combat capability. But he took the most. The only thing he could have went to less was an ES. You know what I mean? But he took the most basic Aurora ship and made it sound really practical and good. He's like, if you want to come into the games, what you can do. He said you can even put somebody in there as long as they get in the bed, and you can do box missions with it. He said you can start to venture into the world, but you're not going to be able to appreciate everything. I mean, he made some good points for that being a ship that most people don't even pay attention to or don't even think about buying. And again, he talked about a pro and con for every one of the ships. And even when he talked about the Nomad, he brought in the aspect of the Rock being something that could complement that ship. I just thought he did a really good job. And to I don't know if it was Square 2 who said it, talked about his cinematography. His cinematography here was really good. The angles he took, the shots he took of the capability of the ships. He showed off the ships, but not so much that you were tired of looking at the ships. And then as Kai said, he had incorporated in-game lore and in-game activity and conversations to making this as if it was someone in the game telling you about the ship and not a player telling you about the ships. And I agree with you, Kai. That stood out tremendously in this. So I just thought it was a lot of stuff in here was really good. I hope he continues this with the next tier of ships that people can graduate into all the way up to the big ones, because I think he did a really good job with this. So Zark, again, thanks for as always, throwing your videos at us, and sorry we waited so long to get this one out, but I think you did a great job.
This one just came out the 17th, so it's not that long. Yeah.
Well, it was a week ago, and I could have showed it a week ago, but I showed something else. So,
all right then. So yeah, that was great stuff. All right, so up next we're coming to the end of the show. Gonna start talking about our next show. So on Saturday, we have Soul Voices at 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. And every Saturday, we have Podsat Saturday. We're starting with Soul Voices at 3 Eastern. And then we're followed by Natural Pub at the Captain Table at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then followed by Relay at 9 p.m. Eastern. And those are all, that'll be 7 p.m., 10 p.m., and 1 a.m. UTC. So check those all out. As far as us, we go. You want to tell people about Sunday's show, Griffin?
I don't even know what the show is. What is it?
Shipyard.
There we go. Shipyard. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be continuing the Shipyard series this weekend, talking about Asperia, Gatak, Grey Cat, and Kruger. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us. We're going to share a little bit of history of each of those companies, talk about their ships, our likes, our dislikes, and have a lot of fun with our Shipyard series. So hopefully you guys can join us Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube.
Yep. And then also come back here on Thursday, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC for Soul Talk, where we talk Star Citizen with members of the community. Also check out our reaction and reviews videos. We're kind of falling behind. Hopefully we can get some more out sometime soon. I really enjoy doing those. Those are fun.
Can I call something out real quick about that? I want to call out for people just so they know, because people might be thinking like, reaction reviews, like I get enough Star Citizen content already, whatever. Just to call out for people, these reaction reviews are on anything in sort of the pop culture, whatever. So it could be the new Top Gun movie, or it could be a X-Men thing, or a what do you call it, the Marvel verse stuff, and all the different things. And I've really been enjoying your reaction stuff to all the different content out there. So I just wanted to give it a shout out and a plug.
Thank you. The check is in the mail. Thank you for that, Kai. Appreciate it. Also, so yeah, don't forget you can become a Soul Bro, Soul Sis, or Soulmate by clicking on the join button in YouTube. You can also become a subscriber by clicking the subscribe button on Twitch. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit follow to show your support for us. We appreciate it. You can follow us on social media. We're Soul Citizens everywhere. I want to thank everybody for being here with us. Adam Kusanagi, Dark Knight, Mr. Face, Gomab, J2, Kaizen, Kawadi, Space, Square 2, and also Griffin Gaming RPG for being my co-host. So appreciate it, as you do every week. Appreciate it. So I think with that, we're going to raid 86 Joe. So 86 Joe is going to be our raider. Make sure you send him our appreciation and love from Soul Citizen. And with that, I'm going to say, so say we all. Peace, love, and soul. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. And just remember, man, somebody divorced J-Lo, okay?